You know, in colonial times, people traded foreign coins of gold and silver, just like this one. This Spanish milled dollar is over 200 years old. So you see, the history of today's money began with coins just like this. The pine tree shilling was the first coin made in the American colonies, and minting it was a crime. The British banned the manufacture of the money in the colonies, but the Massachusetts Mint made the shillings anyway. Don't be fooled by that 1652 date. They used that date year after year so the British wouldn't know they were still in business. The situation finally changed during the American Revolution. Continental currency was printed to pay for that war. But the new government printed too much of it, and the bills were soon worthless. With independence came the right to produce money. To handle this important job, the U.S. Mint was established in 1792. The mint began with copper pennies and moved on to gold and silver coins. The notes included beautiful illustrations by engravers. Just like today, these detailed pictures made the bills much tougher to counterfeit. The federal government got into the paper money business during the Civil War. And since the backs of the bills were printed in green ink, they were called greenbacks. You know, our money system has changed a lot since the Civil War, but dollar bill is still green on the back. So before you spend your next one, take a close look at it. A real close look. This pyramid is a symbol of our lasting strength. It's unfinished because our country is still growing. Then there's the floating eye in the sky. The eye represents God watching over our country. Every bill says, "In God we trust." Now, over here, an eagle holds arrows of war in one claw and an olive branch of peace in the other. The 13 leaves, arrows, and stars stand for the 13 original American colonies. You know, some people find money so interesting that instead of just spending it, they also collect it. And they don't have to be millionaires to do it. So let's meet some young collectors right now. This is Vanishri, Andy, Tom, and Rachel. Hi, how are you guys?
Fine. Great.
Good. Let's come over here to Vanishri. Tell me about your bill collection here.
Well, this is a silver certificate, and this was made a long time ago, but now they've stopped making it, and and over here it says silver certificate. Now they make it a Federal Reserve note.
Mm-hmm. And what about this one back here, I've noticed?
It's a $2 bill, and it was made in 1976, and the president is Jefferson.
Mm-hmm. But there aren't a lot of those. That's pretty nice. Thanks. Now, Andy, tell me about your coin collection. Give me a tour.
Okay. Those pennies are basically wheatbacks and Indian heads.
Now, why is this Indian head penny separated from all the rest? What makes that special?
It's my best Indian head.
And what makes that so special for you?
I got that on my birthday.
Oh, great. Thanks a lot, Andy. Let's move on to Tom. Tom, tell me about your collection here.
Well, I collect mostly American coins that are silver, or at least part silver.
Okay, I notice you have a penny, a dime, nickel, half dollar, dollar. Why are all these coins separated from the rest of these? What makes them special?
They're proofs. That means they have special finishes, and they're really shiny. And they're real valuable, so you don't want to take them out of this case. You want to keep them in there.
And keep them clean. Okay. Thanks, Tom.
Welcome.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Now, I noticed something very, very special about your coins, especially your pennies. They don't look like they're all there. Tell me about that.
Okay, well, this is a regular Lincoln cent. And as you can see, these are error coins, which means that only part of it was struck. And then here, a lot of it wasn't struck, and here, none of it was struck.
Now, I also see something interesting, because I see these pennies are also not struck properly, but what about this penny up there?
This is a steel cent, and it was made during World War II because they were using all the copper to make the bullets, and they decided that they didn't want to waste it on pennies. And they made these kind of pennies for a year, but then they stopped.
That really is interesting. Well, I want to thank you guys. It's a really great collection here. So, there you have it. we started out swapping cows for chickens and ended up with this. A way of moving billions of dollars through our country. So simple that it fits in the palm of your hand. Hi, welcome to the largest coin factory in the world. You know, there are U.S. government mints in Denver, Colorado, San Francisco, California, and West Point, New York. But this one right here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is the largest. They make over 30 million coins a day. Besides the regular coins we spend every day, the mint also makes these special commemoratives, medals, and gold and silver coins, which anybody can buy. Imagine having a coin collection like this. And now, a demonstration. This coin press is over 120 years old, and it still works. So I'm going to press my own commemorative medal. Behold, an ordinary blank piece of metal. Three, two, one. Wow. Now, this medal commemorates the 200th anniversary of the mint. Now, take a close look. Every coin and medal made at the mint is a beautiful piece of art. In fact, I'm going to take you upstairs and introduce you to some of the people who designed them. We're now in the engraving room. This is the room where all the coins in the mint are designed. In fact, we're going to be speaking with one of the designers now. This is Jim Farrell. Hi, Jim, how are you?
Hi, Deborah, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. What are you doing?
Well, I'm working on a design for the World Cup commemorative coin set. This is the front side of the dollar coin.
Now, this isn't a regular coin. This is actually a commemorative coin.
That's right. And this was the concept that was selected for this piece.
Now, I noticed there's not a lot of detail in the original, the face, the muscles. Where did you get all this detail from?
Well, I'll redraw this design, and by using reference material and photographs of soccer players, and also close-up shots of my co-workers' hands and arms and legs, I will incorporate all that into this drawing to try to make it look realistic.
Question. I mean, even still, I could only draw stick figures, and your artwork is wonderful. I mean, how long have you been doing something like this?
I've been working at this now for 25 years.
Wow, that's a long time. But the detail is so wonderful in that. How do you get all that detail from this drawing onto a coin?
Well, we will take a tracing of this and transfer it to a plaster basin. Now, I can show you someone working on that now if you want to follow me.
Okay.
Here. And Deborah, this is John Mercanti.
Thanks.
Hi, Deborah.
Hi, John. How are you?
Fine, sit down.
Thanks. So, what are you doing?
Deborah, this is the 50-cent piece for the World Cup commemorative program, and I'm interpreting the pencil drawing into a clay model.
Now, did you draw this yourself?
Yes, I did.
Now, what are these instruments for?
These are various tools that I use in the course of the modeling, and some of them, as you can see, are finer than the others, and of course I'll use the very fine ones to get and do a lot of the detail.
So these really help you get the details like in the hair? And,
Oh, absolutely.
And how fine a detail can you get?
Well, we can get very fine detail. As an example, I'm working on the socks here. So if you look very closely as I work on it, you can see that I can get right down in there and pick up all the detail at the top of the sock.
So it's not just an engraving job. This really is a lot of artwork involved.
Oh, absolutely. I've always said to children that they carry an art gallery in their pocket.
Definitely. So, what's next?
Well, from this stage, we go into a plaster model. And Ed Stever is over there working on a plaster model, and I'm sure he'd be very glad to show you what he's working on.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ed, hi.
Well, nice to see you, Debbie.
Well, nice to see you, too.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks. Now, this I recognize. This is the United States of America quarter.
Exactly.
Listen, I was just speaking with John, who had made a plaster model, and then he had the clay model over top. So, what's next?
Fixing up the details, getting them all in good, sharp condition for continuing the coinage.
Now, I noticed something I wouldn't normally recognize on a regular quarter. What does this S stand for?
This is the S mint mark. It tells in which mint it's made in the United States. This S stands for San Francisco, where the coin will be struck.
And I also see some detail down here, tiny detail. They look like initials, J.F.
John Flanagan was a sculptor and who made the models in 1932.
So this quarter design right here is all the way from the 1930s up until now.
Yes.
That's really
Exactly.
interesting. So what happens next?
Now it has to be copied from an original plaster into a rubber negative, so we can make several, and that's exactly the same dimensions without shrinkage. And then we pour plastic over it, and that's nice and strong. And then you will have something that's durable. It's an epoxy model which will withstand machining.
Now see, I'm not used to seeing a coin this big. So how would we take this model finally and make it smaller?
Well, you take it into the transfer engraving machine room, and they will show you exactly how it gets reduced.
Okay.
Good.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. So this is the transfer room. You know what? Let's talk to Tony and find out what goes on here. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Deborah. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Now, this I recognize. This is an epoxy model of the back of the quarter. And we saw the front in the engraving room. But what are you doing to the back of the quarter?
What I'm doing here, Deborah, is I'm preparing this model to reduce it to actual coin size, which happens to be 10 to 1.
So this is 10 times the size of the actual quarter that you're going to make.
Right.
Seems like a lot of math to me.
Yes, it is.
Now, what are these?
They're the actual dies that will strike the coin.
Now, when you say strike, you actually mean?
Strike, yes.
Wow. But still, how are you going to get this model to look exactly like this?
Well, let me show you.
Okay.
Well, Deborah, this is our transfer reducing machine. And this particular machine is about 100 years old.
Wow.
And what we do here with it is we transfer from the model size to the actual coin size.
How does the machine do that?
It does that by tracing over all the artwork and the cutter cutting it into the steel.
It's moving so slowly, it looks like it takes so long.
Yeah, it takes approximately 3 days.
It is a long time. Okay, so when this gets done, what's next?
Well, I think you're headed to the press room,
Okay.
and you'll need these.
Goggles and earplugs. What am I going to need goggles and earplugs for, Tony?
You'll find out.
Tony wasn't kidding. One of the busiest places in the Mint is right in here. With over 80 presses, action, noise, and non-stop. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go.
The work starts here at the blanking press. This coiled roll of metal is as long as 5 football fields. It'll be used to make 325,000 nickels. Long ago, most coins had some gold or silver in them. Today, most are made from a blend of nickel and copper. And just like a giant cookie cutter, this press punches out blanks. The blanks end up over here. The rest of the metal is shredded and recycled. And some of it is melted into little bars called pigs. Believe me, there's no metal wasted at the Mint. The blanks move on to furnaces where they're heated. Then they're cooled, washed, and dried. The blanks are still warm as they move on to their next stop. The riddling machine. The shaking riddler screen sifts out any blanks that are the wrong size or shape. Next, the riddled blanks tumble into the upsetting machine. The upsetter raises the edges of the blanks just slightly. The blanks keep on moving. The next stop, the coining presses. And here are the high-speed presses in action. The fastest ones punch out 12 coins a second. It's so fast, you almost can't see what's happening. Now, take a close look at the results. The newly minted coins are spot-checked for quality. Then, they're counted and bagged. A sack of pennies holds $50, and dimes are packed $1,000 per bag. Once the money is bagged, it's stored until it's needed. Every bag you see here is filled with coins. Coins are the only kind of money that the mint produces. But that's not the only kind of money in your pocket, is it? What about the billions of paper dollars we use? Welcome to the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. The Bureau produces paper money in Washington, D.C. and Fort Worth, Texas. And this year, more than 8 billion notes will be printed. And if you could stack them in a single pile, those bills would reach 543 miles straight up. It takes 65 steps to make each bill. And just like coins, it all begins here in the engraving department. Just look at that detail. Those carefully etched lines make life tough on counterfeiters. This work is nearly impossible to copy. The artwork on a single bill is actually the work of many different engravers. All the engravings are combined on this machine called a transfer press. The talented people who operate these machines are siderographers. There are only a few specially trained siderographers in the entire world. A siderographer creates a master plate on the transfer press. From the master, a printing plate is made. Each plate prints 32 bills at one time. The printing plate is mounted on a high-speed press. 8,000 sheets pass through in an hour, enough to make over 250,000 bills. Sheets of currency are run through the presses several times. First, the greenbacks are printed, and then the fronts. Next, the sheets are cut in half and checked for printing flaws. Rejects, called mutts, are removed and destroyed. The good bills are printed one final time with the Treasury and Federal Reserve seals. At the same time, a unique serial number is assigned to each bill. The finished bills are cut and sorted into 100 note packets and inspected one last time. Finally, they're wrapped in 4,000 note bricks for shipping. Now, they're ready to go. Thanks, Bernadette. Talk to you later. You know, money-making at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, and here at this mint, it's a never-ending job. Those presses just keep on rolling to meet the demands for new coins and bills. And who knows? You know, someday, some of the coins from this truck could end up in your pocket. And now you know what it took to make them.